When they return after hurting you, something stirs deep within. The memory of the pain they caused still lingers. The words, the betrayal, the silence that cut deeper than any blade. And yet here they are, back again. Not always with an apology, sometimes with excuses, sometimes with nothing but presence. And now the weight falls on you, not just to face them, but to face yourself. You are not weak because you were hurt. You are not broken because you felt it deeply. You are human. You are a soul that dared to trust, dared to love, dared to hope. And while they may have tried to shatter that, they didn't succeed. You're still standing, you're still breathing, you're still here. But hear this, your healing does not require their remorse. Your peace does not depend on their return. Your worth was never tied to how they treated you. You were valuable before they left. You are still valuable now. Nothing they do or fail to do can change what God has already declared over your life. You are chosen, you are loved, you are His. Forgiveness isn't about making what they did okay. It's about setting yourself free. It's about breaking the chains of bitterness that they forged but you've been carrying. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve to be free. You forgive because God forgave you fully, without conditions, without delay. When they come back, you don't owe them your trust. Trust is earned. Boundaries are holy. Love does not mean foolishness. Jesus forgave the ones who crucified Him, but He didn't invite everyone into His inner circle. He was wise with His heart, and so must you be. So when they return, lift your head high. Look them in the eye, not with hatred, not with vengeance, but with strength. With the kind of strength that says, you hurt me, but you didn't defeat me. You shook me, but you didn't destroy me. I have been restored not by you, but by grace. Let your scars speak of survival, not shame. Let your story become a testimony, not a tragedy. And let your response reflect the power of the one who lives in you, a power that doesn't crumble under pain, but rises through it. You are not defined by who left, who lied, or who returned. You are defined by who never left, your God. The one who sees, who heals, who restores. So keep your heart guarded, your spirit lifted, and your eyes on the purpose ahead. You were not made to shrink for those who don't know how to value. You were made to shine, to stand tall, to walk in love but never in chains. So walk forward. Forgive if you must. Release the past. But remember, just because they've returned doesn't mean they've changed. And just because they want a place in your life doesn't mean they still deserve it. Move with wisdom. Move with grace. Move in power. You are not who the pain tried to make you. You are who God says you are, strong, free, whole, and rising. Closure, many seek it, few find it. Then fewer still understand that healing does not depend on it. When someone returns after hurting you, there's often a longing in the heart for answers, for apologies, for explanations that make the pain make sense. We believe that if they would just admit what they did, if they would just acknowledge the damage caused, we could finally move on. But what if they don't? What if they come back as if nothing happened, or worse, still fail to see the impact of their actions? Does your healing have to stay on hold? The truth is, it doesn't. And that is the power of healing without closure. Healing without closure is one of the most powerful acts of maturity and faith a person can walk through. It's a journey where you decide to reclaim your peace without waiting for someone else to give it to you. Because the longer you wait for someone to say the right words, the longer they hold power over your life. But the moment you decide that you don't need their apology to heal, that's the moment you start to rise. You see, people may never give you what you think you need. They may not come back changed. They may not feel guilty. Some will return casually, speaking to you as if they never betrayed you. Others will carry on with life unaware or unwilling to face the damage they left behind. But your peace must not hinge on their awareness. Your growth must not rely on their regret, because you are not healing for them. You are healing for you. There's a kind of strength that forms in your soul when you realize you can keep going without the apology. It's a holy strength. It's the kind that Jesus himself demonstrated when he hung on the cross, bleeding for people who mocked him. He cried out, "Oh, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." He didn't wait for them to say sorry. He didn't wait for understanding. He forgave from love, not from their merit. And you can too. This doesn't mean you pretend nothing happened. Doesn't mean you let people back into your heart without wisdom or caution. Healing isn't forgetting, it's remembering without letting the memory control you. It's acknowledging the wound, but no longer allowing it to define who you are. When you heal without closure, you're saying, this pain was real, but I am choosing to rise above it. Closure often looks like control. We want to control how the story ends. We want the last chapter to come with justice or clarity or redemption, but life doesn't always offer that. Sometimes people leave without saying goodbye. Sometimes love ends in betrayal. Sometimes friends become strangers, and the reasons never fully surface. But God's grace covers what others leave unfinished. Healing without closure means placing your trust in something greater than explanation. It means trusting God to bring beauty from ashes. It means believing that He saw the moment you were hurt, He counted the tears you cried, and He is still working behind the scenes to restore what was lost. When you let go of your need to understand a why, you open the door to receive peace that surpasses all understanding. And peace, true peace, is not built on what others do or don't do. It's built on the presence of God. He is near to the brokenhearted. He binds up their wounds not with explanations, but with love. He whispers, you are enough. You are still mine. I have plans for you. His voice is louder than silence. His comfort is deeper than apologies. Maybe you were hurt by someone who should have protected you. Maybe the person who left was the one you trusted the most. And now they've returned, or maybe they never will. But your healing is still in your hands. You don't need to wait. You don't need their permission to start rebuilding your life. Today you can make the choice to move forward. Not bitter, not broken, but better. You can learn to love again, not because they said sorry, but because you are still capable of love. You can rebuild your self-worth, not because they acknowledged your value, but because God already defined it. You can trust again slowly, carefully, and wisely, not because everyone deserves it, but because you refuse to let pain harden your heart forever. Closure is a gift, but not a guarantee. And when it doesn't come, you still have a choice. You can choose to stay stuck, rehearsing what should have been said, what could have happened, what you wish they'd feel. Or you can choose to rise, to forgive without a speech, to let go without a formal ending, to breathe again even if the past is unresolved. This is what real strength looks like. Not pretending you weren't hurt, but healing despite it. Not denying the damage, but refusing to let it become your identity. The power of healing without closure is the power of freedom. It's the power of saying, I'm not going to carry this anymore. It's releasing the weight that never belonged to you in the first place. And here's what's beautiful. Healing without closure doesn't just help you, it honors God. Because it says, "Oh Lord, I trust you with what I can't fix. I trust you with the pieces I don't understand. I surrender this wound to you and I believe you can redeem it." That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of surrender opens doors that were once closed by pain. So if someone has come back into your life after hurting you, and the closure you longed for never came, stand firm. Speak kindly if you must. Forgive fully in your heart. But know this, you don't need their apology to walk in peace. You don't need their recognition to stand tall. Your healing is already happening, one brave decision at a time. And the best part? You'll look back one day and realize that what they broke, God rebuilt, stronger, wiser, deeper, and with far more beauty than you ever imagined. You didn't just survive, you grew, you healed, you overcame. And that right there is your closure. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many people see it as weakness if by forgiving you are saying that what happened was okay. But true forgiveness isn't saying you were right, it's saying I'm releasing this burden. Because forgiveness is not about them. It's not about what they did, how they feel, or whether they've changed. Forgiveness is about you. It's about your peace, your healing, your freedom. When someone returns after hurting you, everything inside you may scream that they don't deserve forgiveness. And maybe they don't. But forgiveness isn't about deserving. It's about choosing to no longer carry the pain they caused. It's about cutting the cord that keeps you tied to their actions, their words, their betrayal. It's not permission for them to hurt you again. It's the decision to no longer let what they did control your heart. The truth is, bitterness is a prison. It locks you in while they walk free. Every time you replay the offense in your mind, every time you rehearse what they said or what they did, you give more space in your heart to the very person who hurt you. And eventually bitterness becomes your captor. But forgiveness is the key that sets you free. It doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you trust them again. It doesn't mean you invite them back into the same place they once destroyed. Forgiveness means you're no longer looking to them for justice or peace. You're handing that over to God. You're saying, Lord, I leave this in your hands. I trust you to deal with them. I choose peace over revenge. I choose healing over hatred. And it's not easy. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, especially when the wound runs deep. But it's also one of the most powerful, because it's not natural, it's supernatural. And it draws strength from a place beyond ourselves. From the one who forgave first. Jesus, hanging on the cross, surrounded by cruelty, didn't just die for the innocent. He died for the guilty. He didn't just forgive the ones who followed him. He forgave the ones who mocked him, whipped him, nailed him to that wood. And he didn't wait for an apology. He didn't wait for them to change. He forgave because love demanded it, because freedom required it. If Christ could forgive such cruelty, who are we to withhold forgiveness from those who wrong us? Yes, they may have lied, betrayed, wounded. Yes, they may not feel sorry. But when you forgive, you're not pretending it didn't hurt. You're declaring that it won't destroy you. You're refusing to live in bondage to what they did. Forgiveness is strength. It takes more courage to let go of offense than to hold on to it. Anyone can be bitter. Anyone can seek revenge. But it takes a heart rooted in God's grace to rise above the offense and say, I choose freedom. And remember, freedom does not equal access. Forgiveness is not foolishness. You can forgive someone and still protect yourself. You can release resentment without reopening the door. You are not required to return to the same dynamics. You are not obligated to trust someone who hasn't changed. Forgiveness is free. Trust is earned. That distinction matters. Because when someone comes back after hurting you, they may want things to go back to the way they were. They may say, I'm sorry, or they may act like nothing happened. But forgiveness doesn't mean you forget how far you've come. It means you're no longer dragging their offense into your future. You can look them in the eye, not with hatred, but with peace. You can speak without venom. You can walk away without bitterness burning behind you. That's real power. That's Christ-like freedom. And it's not about being passive. It's about being free. Some people mistake forgiveness for weakness because they don't understand the strength it takes to forgive. But look at the ones who've truly forgiven others. They walk lighter. They sleep better. They move forward. Because they're no longer fighting the same battle in their minds. They've laid it down. And here's what's even deeper. Forgiveness blesses you, but it can also plant a seed in the one who hurt you. They may not receive it at first, they may not even understand it. But your grace, your peace, your refusal to fight back, it speaks louder than revenge ever could. It reflects Christ in a way that changes people. Sometimes not right away, but it plants something eternal. Don't misunderstand, this isn't about letting people trample over you. This isn't about silence or suppression. It's about elevation. It's about rising above the need to win and choosing to live free. Because as long as you're stuck in what they did, you're not walking in what God has for you. Forgiveness clears the path, it doesn't change your heart. It makes space for joy, for restoration, for new relationships, for better tomorrows. When you don't forgive, you stay stuck in a moment that no longer deserves your energy. But when you forgive, you say, I'm not carrying this anymore. I'm done handing over my peace to someone who couldn't protect it. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes